down. So, good day, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us here. I'm Paul Dangerfield. I'm the president of Capilano University, for those of you who don't know me. Really pleased to see so many of you here joining us. Big warm welcome to Brenda's family also for joining us, our special guests here with our community. So thank you for joining us. It's great to have you here. As I said, I'm Paul Dangerfield, and I'm just going to be a bit of an MC here for the event. But what I am going to do is I'm going to kick things off as we always do here at the university, and something that Brenda and I talked about lots over the years, and I've known her for a long time, about kicking things off with a land acknowledgement. And as you know, we are located in the university's campuses are located on the unceded and ancestral territory of the Coast Salish people and the people of the Lillooet Nation, and the Coast Salish people here on the North Shore, the Tsleil-Waututh and the Squamish people, and then we also have our campuses located on the Musqueam and the Sechelt Nations as well. And when we do our land acknowledgement, we like to actually bring purpose to that land acknowledgement, and I want to bring Brenda into this. As you know, the number of times that I've stood beside Brenda while our elders, Elder Latash or Ernie or Rose, and you know, I could feel her sort of saddle up to me as we were talking about the land, and just the deep sense of community that she always had, and the fact that we are celebrating her today, and that behind me we'll talk about the planting of the tree, and that she's now connected with the land. And with that, what I do want to do is introduce one of our elders, Elder Latash, and his wife Delia, who are going to come and do a welcome for all of us, and think about sort of Brenda and being connected with the land. This is really one of the many things that we all loved about her. So with that, I'll ask Latash and Delia to come forward and do a welcome and a funeral song. Thank you.
Hochka siam, Tanoyap, Tanoan siam and Siaya, Sayoyakwa, and a Sequato, Collection Nomen on Hot and Squallowin, Nista Uns Latash Quishomain, Tanalachan Oslahano Hameo, Sko Omasho, Nochayap Menmahat, on Monoxton Squallowin. Well, greetings to all of you. The name I carry is Latash. I am from the Squamish Nation. I have a good feeling in my heart to be with all of you today. And thank you, Mr. Dangerfield, for the welcome, the land acknowledgement. Thanking all of you for being present today. When I'm requested to do a ceremony like this, I pray a lot, and I was thinking about Brenda. And she said that not to worry about her. She made a good journey. She's in a good place. She wants you to be comfortable and to feel good. She is grateful for the gathering today. She feels really good about that. Capilano University has a canoe. And in our culture, we believe that when a person makes that journey to the other side, it's not easy to get to be with the ancestors, and we make that journey in a canoe. But she wanted you to know that the water was calm when she made her crossing, and that she was fine. She made a good journey to the other side. So I'm really happy to have received a message from our beloved friend and colleague, Brenda. I'm so happy in my heart that we can celebrate. I'm sure from what I've heard that she's had many triumphs, many victories, many challenges as well. But because all of you were in her life, it made that possible to have the strength to carry on and do the good work that she wanted to do. I want to share with you a song. It's called Scummel Slolum, or the Paddle Song. And I'm going to share with you, this song was composed in 1886 by our great matriarch, Mary Agnes Lackett Joe. And there had been a celebration at the new church. We had just consecrated and built a new church in our community, a Catholic church. And one religious holiday, there was a large gathering of people. But they saw fire from across the water, and they saw smoke rising quickly across the water. And that was the day that Vancouver had burned to the ground. And the people realized there's a lot of injuries, and many fatalities as well. So they took their canoes that day and they paddled over to Vancouver, and they rescued. Mary Agnes Lackett Joe led that flotilla of canoes to rescue people. And as she was traveling across, she had converted to Christianity in a big way, and she composed the song called the Paddle Song. And it's a funeral dirge that we sing at occasions for our loved ones. So we'll share with you the Paddle Song. Oh, new heart, Malay, chase at chase and slay quintoman tane mastama and slay quintoman tane mastama. Oh, new heart, Malay, chase at chase and slay quintoman tane mastama and slay quintoman tane mastama. Oh, new heart, Malay, chase at chase and slay quintoman tane mastama. Oh, new heart, Malay, chase at chase and slay quintoman tane mastama and slay quintoman tane mastama. You are the only one, Mother of Christ the King. Have mercy on us all, on all us human beings. Have mercy on us all, on all us human beings. Thank you all once again for having us as part of your day. Very honored to be here in respect of this great lady. And we just wish you all the best, and just once again feel comfortable that she's made a good journey. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Elder Latash and Delia, once again for joining us on these very special moments. So it's good to see everyone here today. I'm going to lift it up a wee bit because I'm going to tell a couple stories. We all have stories here to tell about our dear friend, Brenda, who we all knew very well. And in Brenda's honor for today, I think some of you will know, and for the family, just so you do know, we have actually lowered our flag at half-mast at the university in respect and acknowledgement for just what a remarkable woman Brenda was to us who are here today, and to many, many, many generations of students and employees who have come through the halls of Capilano University over the many years. So a couple of my stories, and we're going to provide the opportunity for you to come forward and maybe share some of your stories as well. I've had the very good fortune of knowing Brenda since my first go around here at the university when I was a faculty member and then a dean. And I recall really clearly meeting Brenda for the first time as a new dean, and just her counsel and her advice. And boy, she was a lot of fun too. And just helping me out as a new administrator. And a lot of you know that I didn't come from an academic background, and she was really great at making me understand what CAP, at the time, CAP College was all about. And I remember clearly those moments. And over the years, some of you have actually heard me tell some of these other stories, so I won't get into too much detail because I could spend the whole afternoon talking about some of the events and the times that I had the opportunity to meet with her. But you've heard me tell the story about when I did come back in 2016 as the president, and I still get all choked up about it. She gave me a big hug, leaned over my shoulder, whispered in my ear, pat on the back, and said, "Welcome back, Paul." I hadn't seen her in 10 years. You know, that's Brenda. You know, that's the person she was. And then over the years, lots of great things. I remember, I was saying to Janet earlier, I remember dancing in the rain at our Cap Fest in 2018, dancing in the rain with her. And I think it was one of the songs, Julie, you were playing in between when the bands were out playing, and we were dancing and laughing and just talking about how great things were. I remember standing beside her when we signed the Okanagan Charter, which is all about looking after our people, our well-being of our students and employees. And she was such a champion for the well-being of our employees and our students. And it was a big deal for her. I remember, of course, along with her colleagues from Move Up, and they're my friends. You're my friends, sitting in my office or in her office, and her wagging her finger and telling me what I needed to be doing to be able to look after our employees and our students. And it was always that, you know, it was sometimes it's students first, sometimes it's employees first, but she was always, always saying we have to look after our folks. And so I could go on, and I've probably got a dozen more stories of like that. But what I do want to say is, beyond those personal stories that we all have, and you could all tell stories, is that the reach that Brenda had beyond those of us who she knew directly. She changed our culture. She changed how we were as a university. And in doing so, she impacted people who didn't even know her and didn't even had no idea that she was making that difference in their lives and in their communities, and for both our students and for our employees. She reached so many of us. Truly a wonderful person, a great friend, great colleague, and really a good person. And thank you, Josh. It's so good to know that she is in a good place right now. I think that means a lot to a lot of us. But let's be happy about it too. So next up, I'm going to ask Tally to come forward. We will give others an opportunity to also come forward, and I will talk about the tree in the past. But I do want to just say something. I'm quasi colorblind here, so it's hard for me to see color, but I can actually see that red tree in the sea of green back there. And if you get a chance, it's pretty much talks about Brenda. That's the way it is. A red tree in a sea of green. She stood out like that really nicely. So I'm going to ask next up Tally, if you'd like to come forward and say a few words too, please. I might move that down. There we go.
First of all, I just wanted to say thanks to. Do I have to go closer? Um, just wanted to say thank you to Elder Latesh. It's wonderful to hear that Brenda made a safe journey. We're so happy to hear that. I also want to say thank you to Paul and the executive team for today, for honoring Brenda, for her many contributions to the university, and for giving us a spot to come to when we need to talk to her. I know that a lot of folks here and the ones watching from home have been waiting for this day, and it's going to help in our healing process. This has been such a shitty year. I was so scared that I'd come up here and not be able to truly convey what this I have them. I've got tons of them here. What Brenda meant to me and to the finance department. Well, she has worked here for 30 plus years. I was fortunate to work with her for just shy of 3 years. I came in here and I was told the finance department needed some fixing. And what I found was that the staff turned to Brenda for everything. That she, while she was the financial systems administrator, she was actually the leader in the department. The one, as Paul said, people turned to for counsel. So in those early days, 3 years ago, her and I realized this, and I realized why the staff were turning to her as well. And I quickly turned to her as well for anything. We would have pinky swear conversations where we would share what we truly wanted to do with the university, with the department, and how we would work together to achieve those goals. And that's what Brenda did. She helped me rebuild the team that you guys interact with today. She had a big hand in that rebuilding. She was a people person. She always looked after everybody. And there was numerous times where she would be telling me about the value of the people that were in the department that were overlooked so many times. She would drop those hints, and then I would go in and follow up. That's how we had Leslie promoted to manager, and she's doing an awfully great job of it. We had Jeanette promoted to AP supervisor. We had Teresa, who's here today, Rain, who has to write an exam right now, and then Janice promoted to budget officers. Something that was really unheard of here at Capilano. People that were working here for so many years, us investing in them and promoting them, and that was Brenda. That was Brenda, always speaking up at team meetings, doing the team cheer, if you want to call it. When I was struggling with recruiting for positions, I turned to her. I had the move up executive, the expert on the collective agreement in my shop. There was no way I wasn't going to turn to her for advice. And I said, hey Brenda, I want to implement the modified work week. How do I go about doing it? And so these guidelines, instructions that have been shared across many departments, that was her helping me implement that for the team. But Brenda, when I asked her, hey Brenda, where's your form? What day do you want off? She's like, I don't want a day off. What are you talking about? What do you mean you don't want a day off? You don't want a long weekend every other weekend? And she's like, no, Tally, I love it here. This is where I want to be. This is my home. And that's what she did. She always looked after everybody else. I too could go on, but I know I only had 5 minutes up here. I just want to say to Brenda's girls, there were so many stories just about you guys as well. She just loved you guys. And to my staff, the one that are here and the one that are at home watching, whoa, you know, dealing with grief isn't easy. And even through your grief, you knocked it out of the park. You never missed a deadline. You shone. And that was Brenda pulling you through. I know it was. And I know what she would be saying to me. What a team we have, Tally. What a team. So I just want to thank you for listening to me ramble. But thank you. Thank you for today. And to Brenda, I know you're here watching us. I love you. Thank you for the last 3 years. And thank you for helping me rebuild this team. Thanks.
Oh, sweaty. Joanne Cook, who's one of our gardeners here, she was instrumental in finding the tree and the rock and getting it all organized to make sure that she found the perfect place for it. I know she had a lot of the facilities teams behind her helping her out. She unfortunately can't be here today. So I have volunteered to read her poem for her. I hope I can make it through the whole thing. If I can't, I'm sorry, I'll try my best. I probably don't need the mic either, as you all know. Strong Sister by Joanne Cook, for Brenda. You do not stand alone in the forest. Your powerful energy is around us every day. May we all remember your strength of character and passion for justice. Being a powerful woman is not easy, but you sure made it look easy. We remember you, Strong Sister. You made everyone feel so welcome, like family. Over the years, I have forged many friendships, as connection with others is one of my strengths, and we had that in common. Honesty and integrity go hand in hand. People can't handle the truth, but you said it anyway. I loved that about you. What measures success for you? For me, it used to be independence, standing on my own 2 feet, owning things. Now it is love and happiness. It is strong sisters like you that taught me this. Priorities change, and it affects us because of situations, realizations, and perspective. Yes, I am still fiercely independent, and I may still be attached to things, but today it is easier to separate material from what really matters. Honesty, integrity, and connection matter. Love matters. When we lose someone special, perspective always comes in and reminds us what is really important. Above all else, love and friendship win. We love you, Strong Sister, and we remember you. I did it.
I don't think we doubted that, Janet. So thank you very much. And Tally, thank you too for your wonderful words. Okay, now is the time where we're going to have an open mic and leave it to our friends and our colleagues here. If you'd like to come forward and share some words, a story, I'd like to offer that up right now. And I think we have a couple people who've actually indicated that they do want to do that. Okay, and I'll just kick off with Eric just to get things going. And my good colleague and friend Eric, if you want to come forward first, and then open up after that. Anyone else who would like to come forward, just make your way up.
Thanks, Bob. Hope you'll forgive me. I actually have a great deal of difficulty speaking in public. Speaking in public is not my strong suit. Um, I just want to thank, first of all, Latash and wife for their beautiful ceremony, song, very meaningful. And also want to be mindful to thank all the people of this region who are sharing their land with us. I think it's of core importance to myself and good relations, right? And Brenda and I spoke about it a lot. So that's always for me when I give a land acknowledgement. Brenda's there with me for sure. And I also wanted to, just out of the gate, thank the team that put this together, including the facilities group. There's numerous people on that team who worked on this, and the team that Julie put together, which is Leslie Nelson, Janet Cox, Ginia Andrews, Brenda Stenson, and myself. And I think it's just absolutely wonderful. I think Brenda would just be stunned. But further than this, I have spoken about Brenda as a trade unionist before. I don't think I'm going to go. I was going to say something about it. I think it's clear that she had everybody's best interests in mind, always in her heart. I've spoken about her incredible mind, just so sharp and just something that I've always looked up to. But you know, I was also thinking about how huge her heart was. Her heart was so enormous. It just encompassed everybody, and I never ever heard her knock down anyone at all. We had criticisms about how things work or don't work and so forth, but she never took apart anyone's personal character, ever. And that's rare. That in my life, that's a rare thing, and I just appreciate that lesson from her. And so I was going to go on and on, but I suddenly realized, you know, I woke up in the night and I'd had a dream about Brenda, of course, in anticipation of this event, you know, and I wasn't going to say anything, but maybe it's prescient. I had this dream that I was trying to get Brenda's attention for something. We're going to talk about something. Brenda, you know, we got to talk. We got to talk. We spoke a lot, and you know, when she was here, we spoke many times a week at night on the phone. But I was in my dream. I was somewhere trying to get her attention, and she couldn't address my questions because she was too busy helping other people. She was going around helping other people, and you know, when I woke up, I was like, you know, that it's just so. She would do anything for anyone. I just know it, and if they needed it, you know. And so I'm super happy to be a part of this. And tree here, I welcome everyone to go see the tree up close. It's a beautiful maple, and it's just wonderful that we can come together as a community, especially after all this craziness where we have to spend our time seeing each other in 2 dimensions. So it's beautiful, and I know that Brenda would be first in line to be giving people hugs. So anyways, we love you, Brenda. Thank you.
Another vertically challenged person.
I'm just going to move it down a bit. There you go.
Perfect. My name's Steve Gallagher. I'm retired now, but I used to work as a director in the IT services department. I've known Brenda for getting on to 40 years. Brenda was very special to both myself and my wife, Donna. I met her first when she was a student at CAP, involved in the student union. She had enormous self-confidence and had a real presence, particularly in public settings. My wife Donna worked as a manager in financial services back in the day, and Brenda was her first hire. She hired her to sort out accounts payable, which she did with her usual competence. Donna has told me that an hour of Brenda's time was worth 4 times everyone else. I really got to know Brenda when we worked together implementing systems in financial services. She really understood how CAP worked and how to get the best out of the computer systems we were setting up and how to use those systems to make the people using them more effective. In the end, we worked on 2 financial systems and the budgeting process for the faculty HR system, the work of 20-odd years. She had outstanding analytical skills and a very creative mind that could look at problems in unconventional ways. Anyone coming into IT services would probably notice that Brenda was always invited to all the IT services social functions. She even had a Santa stocking. The reason why is that in the mid-2000s, Brenda was so involved in computer systems that the VP Finance of the time, who came from an IT background, transferred her to IT services. Communities. She is missed every day. Thank you.
Anybody else?
So there is a forest far away from here, over the hills and far away. And in that forest, there's a tree. And that tree grows to this day bigger and stronger than all the other trees in the forest. And the people say, the people who know this place say, that that tree is where the bear died. Bears are good mothers. And Brenda was a bear mother. She was a bear mother to Cap-U. So I share this with you because these moments are moments that remind us that we are all family. A few weeks ago, Joanne Cook shared with me where the tree would be, where the tree is. And when I think of this tree and all the years to come, I think of how it will thrive here and it will grow. And one day, maybe, it will be bigger and stronger than all the rest. Think of it as our bear tree, our strong sister. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Randy Klein. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I started at CAP in 1997, and without knowing it, I was aware of Brenda before that time. Um, so I'd been with my wife for about 12 or 13 years by then, and she retold and retold the story about working at Brownie's Fried Chicken on First and Lonsdale in the mid-70s, I'm gonna guess, if I can age Kath at the right time. And sure enough, Brenda Pickersgill was kind of the, not really the manager, but they were all kind of collaborative co-workers in the Brownie's Fried Chicken. And the story invariably, besides stories of throwing chicken at each other and having fun and sometimes at the expense of the owner. The stories were about their kindness and sorry, feeding the homeless essentially is what it boiled down to, and passing cigarettes out to some of the people that passed along the street and were, patrons of the area, but also, homeless and in trouble. But the story revolved again around this great kindness and turning a blind eye to rules that helped people out. So jump forward a whole bunch of years. I started in 97, and it only took about a year, and Brenda and Susan Rogers, who was the supervisor at the time, and Brenda was something of a senior role there, really, involving the same stories, like the person that understood everything, the person that could manage year-end, manage the data, and helped everybody, and pretty much what Brenda wanted to happen happened. It didn't matter who the bursar was. It was Mark Vernon at the time. But I found my way into accounts payable, not very long after I started here, and I had a good run of 4, 5, 6 years in accounts payable. Learned a ton, and serendipitously, after Janet started arranging this session, I happened to be down at Shipyards, close to where I live, and who's walking up the pier but Susan Rogers. So she'd long since retired, and there she was. So we were to share stories about Brenda, and Susan would have the same thing to say. She was a media resources program grad who needed a job. Brenda took her in, trained her because she had no finance background, and was able to give Susan a good career here while it lasted. So I and so many others owe this huge debt to Brenda, and all of the comments that have been said. I think the common thread is she felt like CAP was her family, and she did everything she could to make it a better place. And I do want to, on a side note, I just want to say, seeing the daughters here, I would want to say, every morning she'd come into the office and she'd have another story about the daughters, and we either laughed or we commiserated or we somehow helped her get through the challenge of raising three beautiful daughters in North Vancouver. So but yeah, so she wanted to she treated this as her family. She wanted it to be her safe place, and whether it was her union work, her partying on the weekends, sharing a drink. She came to my 50th birthday party. We had a good time. There you go. And just like Paul, I left here in 2016, but I came back, and she also, in her way, welcomed me back. So I think if I can say anything, if I can eke it out, if we can honor Brenda, it would be to maintain that sense of family and take care of each other and know that we're all pulling in the same direction, but that direction is to take care of each other and have a really great Capilano community, whether it be college or university. So thank you for everybody to have this session, and I know Julie should be recognized, and Janet did a lot of work. So thank you, everybody, and let's keep Brenda in our heart in that regard by being kind to each other. I've heard it here already. Lean in when we can, have a hug, and tell each other that you love each other, because invariably that's the message that she would want to send. Thanks.
Sorry, I am definitely not going to make it through without crying. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Christy, or Christy Lee is what Brenda would call me. Christy Lee is my real name, and Brenda's the only person outside of my family that calls me it. And I never corrected her because Brenda was the type of woman that instantly became family. She loved you as soon as she knew you. I remember working in the daycare and pushing the babies around, and Brenda was always so excited to see us. And if we ever had a set of twins in our classroom, she was all over the twins. And, you know, I really became close with Brenda in 2012. And that's when she embraced me. She became an advocate to me, a friend to me, a support, and a cheerleader that I didn't even know that I needed when she came into my life that way. I adored Brenda, and I still do. And it is going to be part of my goals to make sure that her legacy continues. And I want you girls to know that your mom was a force. If that's the only thing you can think of when you think of Brenda, is just a wild force. And I hope that that carries with you 2 or 3 for your days. Brenda did so much for this community and this family at the university, and I can't thank her enough for the work that she did. I'm happy to say that we're going to be honoring her with a lifetime membership to our union because she did so much for us. And at convention this fall, we'll definitely be having a lot of wine, and we'll be on that dance floor dancing for her because that is what she loved to do, and she's gonna be there right with us. So thank you everyone for holding this today, and I look forward to continuing her legacy for you all.
That's very difficult to follow. My name is David Black. I'm president of Move Up, and have known Brenda through that role for a very, very long time. As other people have said, Brenda was a passionate defender and advocate for the university, but particularly for the members that she represented. She was a strong believer in the rights of union workers, of workers in generally, and in social justice issues. And when she thought that there was a problem, that either CAPU members or other union members or other people were not getting a fair shake, that passion turned into ferocity. And she was a fierce advocate for this university, for the people who work here, for union members generally. And like Paul, sometimes I was at the receiving end of that wagging finger. But I think, like Eric said, like Eric said, you always knew that she was coming from a place of pureness and was acting on her beliefs. It was not personal. It was because she strongly believed in what she was doing and who she was advocating for. As Christy said, we're going to be honoring her later this year in our union, and I can't thank you enough for having me here and letting me be here today, and thank you very much. Thank you, girls.
Okay, I'm getting the signal from the other boss that I have here, Brenda being one and Julie being the other. So thank you, everybody. We'll have lots of time to continue to share. We're not going anywhere, so if you do want to share some ideas afterwards, we will be around. What we're going to do now, or what I want to offer up now, is that some of you may have seen that we've got an opportunity for you to write a note and to Brenda, to others, and to put it at the base of the tree. And you've heard now about the tree. It's this beautiful maple tree that is in behind me. And I think you can probably see it, actually. As I said, it sticks out. Even for those that are quasi-colorblind, I can see it. And it does stick out. And so I would encourage you to write a note, share it with Brenda on her journey, and or to yourselves, or just however you feel, and share it there, and leave it at the base. You don't have to do it right now. The tree's not going anywhere. It's going to be here, as Victoria said, it's going to be here for a long time, and so you'll be able to continue to write messages to her. So with that, I'm going to get close to wrapping up here. Big thank you to everybody for showing up, for your kind words, for your telling the stories to the family. I think you get a sense of how much we loved her as much as you did. To her colleagues from Move Up, thank you so much for joining us. I know it means a lot to her. It would mean a lot to her as well. To old colleagues who've come back to see her, thank you so much for your wise words. It really is a celebration. She would be hit me in the ribs and saying, "Come on, Paul, get on with this. This is a celebration." She did all the time. And I'm not stretching the truth. She actually would do it. She would jab me in the ribs and say, "Let's get on with it and have a good time here." And so let's remember that. So what we're going to do next, and I've got my phone out here. It's not that I'm talking to my phone here, but in your invitations, what we did is we actually included a link to a great little video that the folks in put together from finance. It's a really fantastic little link. You can turn it on now, use your own phones, and have a look at it while we kind of wrap up here. And for those of you who would like to be able to write a note and head back and have a look at the plaque, I didn't make the connection, and I'm not going to give it away, but there's a Sailor Moon. There's a Sailor Moon little phrase there. And see if you know where it came from. That's on the plaque as well. So I would encourage you to have a look at that. And those of you who know, Sailor Moon was a little bit of a force there too, another guiding light. So what I would encourage you to do, pull out your phones, grab a pen or the paper, write a note, wander back there. You have to be a little bit careful because of space. Do share with each other, and really big thank you to all of you for showing up. And Julie, in her typical style too, has just gone the extra mile here. There's a little bit of champagne, I think, so that we can toast her as well. So to our wonderful friend, colleague, family member, Brenda, let's remember her the way she would want to be remembered. And I think we'll probably put some 80s music on here in a minute too, just to make sure we tap it off. So big thank you, everybody, for joining us here today, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
They say we live in our minds anyway. Having you with us like this makes us happy.
staff. You're a great person, a great colleague. I'm going to miss you very much.